Okay, so I want to start this video off with a very clear understanding that this is purely a passionate opinion piece. Most of my videos are a mixture of education on a topic and sharing my views on said topic, but I'll be honest that my only knowledge of coding is from my 2014 DeviantArt profile, so I won't be discussing anything logistical or how AI works in this video. Though this channel doesn't focus on art, and most of my art in my videos is pretty simple thumbnail speed paints, I spend a lot more time on art and animation than I do on writing scripts or working on video topics in my free time. I was homeschooled for a year and took college art courses in an attempt to go to Sheridan for animation, although my mental health prevented that. I've been making money off my art mainly through commissions since I was around 13 or 14 years old and had a brief period of selling my oil paintings that started to accumulate over time. My previous channel that's still technically up but dead is an animation channel. I've been animating since around that same time as well. I also still make a significant amount more money from commissions than I do from this channel. And by the way, my commissions are open again, so message me on Twitter or Discord. There are links in the description. All of this is to say that art is very much a big part of not only who I am, but also my main source of income. Even with these videos, they would not be able to exist without the speed paints, at least not in a way that I'd be happy with them. That being said, I'm a person who's generally really excited by new technologies, even if it's with some hesitance. And while I can understand the kind of neat, cool, oh wow, this seems like a sci-fi thing in real life aspect of AI art, and especially of Sora AI, OpenAI's new AI video creation thing, the cost that this has for artists is simply not even remotely worth it. Usually when people say that, they just mean jobs, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely mean that as well. It's already common to have people using AI to pump out quote-unquote commissioned art that they simply put color overlays on to make people's personas and OCs, and obviously not to mention the fear that OpenAI's Sora has sparked in animation communities. But it's not just that. I am more so bothered by the reactions of people and how they view art. While the concept of what is art is not a straightforward one and can be debated probably for eternity, in my opinion, art is something that reflects a human experience. Whether that art is traditional realism that reflects the lives and places of the person who painted it, the people who live there, or just the artist simply setting up a canvas there, whether it's abstract art that exists to challenge conventional art standards, if it's a pile of candy in a corner meant to represent wasting away from AIDS, or yeah, whether it's a bright green persona or a drawing of a Homestuck character, all of that is undeniably human. It's something that mattered to someone enough for them to sit down and create it. AI art is not that. It is not a reflection of human experience, only the prompt is, before it's spit back out by a machine attempting to conceptualize something that it fundamentally cannot. I'd equate AI art to art in the same way that writing a sentence in English, sending it through Google Translate 25 times, and then having it come back in garbled half-English nonsense is actually English. It's not, really. It shares a resemblance and an understanding that it started out there, but whatever made that sentence have any meaning has now been washed out of it. And people talking about AI art as though it's just a new tool for artists or even creating a new type of artist is false. It's someone looking at that Google translated garble and deciding that actually that's poetry and they're the poet. The way AI is shifting public opinion on the value of art is honestly disgusting. There will always be artists because art is human and art is expression. Where one day there may never be factory workers if automation takes over, AI will never fully replace artists. It will beat us down and devalue us in our expression and corporatize and suck the soul from movies and comics and TV and even architecture probably, but it won't make us go away. And what kind of person wants to live in a world where there are artists, but all the art surrounding them is the equivalent of a 25 times translated sentence? I'm gonna move on to more practical aspects and arguments and less ranting, I guess. And there are two common arguments that kind of stem from the same place, that AI art makes art more accessible. This argument usually takes the form of either one, that said person did not have access to art education and therefore can now make quote-unquote art through AI, or that AI makes art accessible to disabled people. To start out with the less complicated of the two, you do not need a professional education to be an artist. YouTube videos, gesture drawing websites, and just practice and time are available to literally any person who already has access to the internet to use the AI programs in the first place. My partner grew up as an army brat and as such didn't have access to art education due to both that and an unsupportive environment surrounding it. He bought himself a cheap $20 pen tablet and practiced. He got an iPad like 2 weeks ago, and just spending time practicing animation with that, he's gotten like really good at it. Obviously, access to professional art education is a privilege that should be afforded to everyone, but a lack of it does not make you unable to learn to be an artist. Most artists you see online are self-taught. Many people who make art as a living are also self-taught. I made money off of my art before having any education on it myself. Literally the only thing that you need is a will to do it. Fancy supplies and good teachers are great, but they aren't what makes someone an artist. On the note of disability, there are millions of disabled artists. Blind artists, amputee artists, paraplegic artists. I myself am, in fact, a disabled artist. People's personal struggles can be a barrier or make art more difficult, but to claim that disabled people need a machine to do it for them is just frankly untrue regardless of what someone's disability is. If someone has something they want to create and an actual desire to do so, they will, and it undermines the creative means that both underprivileged and disabled artists go through to create, and it infantilizes people who have more skill and willpower in one cell than anyone who's ever called their AI prompt quote-unquote art. All AI does is demean people who put their lives into reflecting human experiences back into the world through their own very personal lens. It rips away things that we actually enjoy about artistic media. Everyone loves Pixar movies because they're emotionally impactful and because of how universal, and I hate to say it again, but how human they are. Movies like Up and Toy Story couldn't be made with AI. That's not a script that could be written or a movie that could be animated by a computer. AI artists are not artists. AI art is not art, and I personally don't want to live in a world where anyone thinks it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Ha det.
The populace in prayer.